Aha! It's fixed. Oh, a silent movie? Silent movie would be pretty fun. We could do that. Were you saying hello to people and shit? Yeah, I was. Yo! Welcome to the Atrioc broadcast. Good to fucking see you. How are you? How the hell are you, bro? These glasses are broken. Looks cartoonish. Everyone, when I was muted, I said your name specifically and a fun fact about you that I remembered because I'm personable like that. I wish it didn't get muted because I said like your name and I caught up with something about you and asked you about your life. So, just a nice thing that I do for my chatters. I keep track on them, you know, remember all their little details about their lives. Data framing. Thank you for the gifted, my close personal friend. Wow. Your favorite viewer is here. There they are. There's my favorite viewer. I'm pointing to you specifically. I use Flock. So what I do is after every stream, I type in all your names into a Flock database and I track your lives so I can keep tabs on how my viewers are doing. It's like a fun, cool thing that I do. It's been Independence Day. How is he doing in the Clacton on Sea by Sea election? How is an hour ago? Polls close as Nigel Farage faces long wait to see if he's beaten Count Binface. The 2020s rule, dude. We get headlines like this. This is the fucking world we live in. The guy currently front runner polling in the UK, Nigel Farage, is wondering if he's beaten Count Binface. God, I would love for Count Binface to pull off the upset here. It would be, this is such a great.
Homelessness is very dear to my central fluid pumping organ. I truly believe in this. I mean, obviously, there is a ribald element in that every single government has a housing target, and they steadfastly fail to meet them. The current Labour government, Angela Rayner,
Oh, yeah.
who's back, the return of the Rayner, she says that the current government, she was
I can't
basically
pause
saying
it.
on the radio,
This is
they
a UK
won't
rule. You
hit
can't pause the
their
video once you start it.
1.5 million house target in this parliament. She even invoked my policy when the interview.
Oh my God, I can't stop it.
1.5 houses.
Binface is taking over my machine.
So they all know about it. And it's about time one politician under-promised and over.
He was talking. Hey, Daniela, thank you for the raid. Thank you for the raid. Hope the tournament well. He was talking about his policy of we're going to build one affordable house. Which I love. I do love it because, like you said, every fucking government goes, yeah, we're going to build 1 million new affordable homes. And then you flash forward, they've built none. They've built none, or they built very few, or it's taken forever. But at least one is a good promise. That you can deliver on. Yo, Big Guy, I'm going to Chili's. Want me to grab you anytime? Did you mean to write grab you anything? Or did you ask me if you can grab me anytime? Because no, you cannot grab me anytime. That's not how that works. I don't want you to just grab me. That's not what I'm all about. But you can grab me something from Chili's. I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind a big smasher, for example. Hey, Shrug, speaking of affordable houses, how's your friend's house problem going? Well, I'll tell you, poorly, but it's over. I really can't tell you more now, I guess. He asked me not to turn it into a public thing, even though I was like, bro, you guys don't know, my friend was really cheated by somebody in the Arizona contracting business. Just really absolutely, like, they're a young family and they have a kid, and they just got absolutely cheated. And I was like, bro, I am so mad at this guy. I will make 10 videos about it. We'll fucking harass his business. Well, like, I mean, I want everyone in Arizona to know this guy fucking sucks. And He's like, well, we're in this legal dispute, and I think if I do that, I could get in trouble. So, um, we didn't do it. I didn't do it, unfortunately. And he ended up, honestly, this sucks, dude. He had to pay the guy. He had to pay the guy just because the cost of keeping up the battle would have been this gigantic question. It was so bad. It really sucks. It makes me furious. Honestly, the more I talk about it, the angrier I get, and I'm actually in a good mood. So I don't want to talk about it anymore. But let's just say that I helped and we got it done and we figured it out, and he's moving on. They're in a good spot and they're moving on, and that's what it is. So anyway, Lawnsome, thank you for the 27 months. Tradian Arnold, thank you for the tier 1 6 months in advance. My God, that's a confident bet. Night Vision, thank you for the prime. Lawnsome, thank you for the 27. Severman, thank you for the 26. New cameras. Dude, everyone keeps telling me I got a new camera setup when I haven't even. Look, bro, I'm not kidding. The new camera is here. It's in the box. I haven't even opened it. This is the old camera. I'm just sitting like 1 millimeter closer to the focus point that it's been on for 3 years. And so I guess but this camera should ideally solve the problem you guys are saying is already solved. So what did I buy this for? You mean all I had to do is move my seat slightly? No, it's good. I want a new camera anyway because I'm trying to get this camera on the green screen over here so that I can do like a green screen segment of some sort where I travel to far off nations like Japan. Is the idea. That's the idea. Okay. Does that make sense? Does that track? Wait, sorry. I'm just making sure all these slides are in order. I do have a nice presentation today. Actually, I'll put the timer up. Let's get the timer on screen, given that I do have a presentation and I want to make sure that I do it today. The 30-minute timer, and it will be Tharketing Thursday. Tharketing Thursday. In 30 minutes. That's what we're going to do. You're low-key like a glizzy lafufu. Now, often I don't know what you guys mean, but this particularly, I have no idea what you're saying. This one particularly, I do feel completely lost, completely out to sea, I'll be honest with you. So hopefully you can clue me in. I feel like I'm a little bit, I hate to be that far. My mom is watching right now, and she just texted me and said, just saw your handsome face on Twitch. Love you, son. Mom, you're embarrassing me. You're embarrassing me in front of my chat, which is more important than anything else. My God. Love you too. Love you too. Tell Dad I love him. Turn off the stream. Turn off the stream. Mom. Unc doesn't even know what a glizzy lafufu is. Yeah, well, could you explain it to me? Make fun of me. Dude, no, guys, no. Yesterday we opened stream with I Am Bob saying it was a great day because they did well on their software engineering interview. And then 3 hours later, they got rejected. Sag, why is the job market so cooked? Fuck, dude. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that. Bummer. Bounce back, though. I believe in you. I did see that software engineering hiring is ticking back up. So maybe it's turning a corner. Maybe it's turning a corner. I do feel for you. Today's a fucking rough-ass job market, to be sure. Big A, do you want me to intro you for the yen presentation? I have a great message prepared, mate. First of all, don't call me mate just yet, Crane. Secondly, why don't you tell me the message and we'll see if it's a good lead in. Okay. Why don't you tell me the message? Because I don't want to set all this up and then, do you know what I'm saying? Let's pre-plan this so that I get a good message. Wait, what is this? Hey, thank you for the 81 months, Bo the Hobo. And thank you for the compliment on the shirt. By the way, this shirt, my mom did buy it for me on Christmas. So actually, I do owe her a debt of gratitude. I do owe her a debt of gratitude. Big A, should I max out my Roth IRA or put aside $300 a month for gambling? One gets me a house and the other is a Roth IRA. But sounds like you got to figure it out, my brother. Keep going with what you're doing. Far be it from me to get you off the right path. Did you hear about the new Pokemon news? 24 years of Pokemon forward compatibility is getting cut off in 6 months. I don't know what that means. And I'm more of a Pokehead than most. What does that mean? I don't follow. Pokemon Bank is dying? What are we talking about? Pokemon Bank? Does that have to do with the yen? Is that my lead-in? Is that my lead-in? What are we talking about? It means transferring mons from old games to new ones. Okay. What you're saying is, if there is a new Pokemon game, I cannot transfer a Pokemon from a previous game to that game anymore. Is that what you're saying? Okay. Well, just to be clear, I am not going to play a mainline Pokemon game until they get good. And so that could be a decade or more. Like, I'm not interested. I'm not going to play fucking... I'll play Pokemon Champions, which looks awesome. But I don't want to play the fucking actual walk around and level up my fucking starter and then sweep the whole game type shit. That shit is broken. But I hope they bring it back, dude. I hope they bring it back. Honestly, from what I've learned, listen, I've been approached by a lot of Poke experts in the past few weeks, and the things they've shown me have baffled me beyond comprehension. There are so many incredible fan-made Pokemon games where they just literally edit the actual games and add new towns and new gyms and new stories and new Pokemon and a bazillion things. So I'm not so worried knowing that about whether or not Nintendo farts out another fucking dog shit one. That's the God's honest truth of it, is I'm just less worried. X Hurt 2K, thank you for the 36 months. Yo, Big Edge had an interview for Emotion. Wish me luck. I do wish you luck. My God, I wish you luck, bro. Everyone in chat, I wish luck, and everyone in Reddit, I hope they get fired. So that you guys have more jobs. More jobs for the chatters, less job for the Redditor. I think that's my honest... do you know what I'm saying? That's where I'm... Atrioc, I know where that shirt from is banging. I appreciate you saying that. This shirt is from my mom on Christmas. She gave it to me. I don't know where she got it. I don't know. Maybe she's got the connects, dude. Maybe she knows. It's probably from like Kohl's. If I had to guess. Like, it's a nice shirt, but just knowing where my mom shops, it's probably Kohl's or Target or something. But wherever she got it, it's dope. I like it. Do you want to read my message? All right, what was your message? Your message was, you said, hey, Atrioc, I've been searching for a place to live in Japan and the price keeps changing. What's going on? All right, bro, thank you. I'll tell you if I need it. Okay, I think I can do the intro myself, but I'll tell you if I need it in 22 minutes. All right, I promise you. How are you guys doing? What's going on? Dude, I don't know if anyone here is a Squeaks viewer. I know he's a bad guy. I know that he was deeply involved in January 6th, but I did enjoy his stream earlier. It was cracking me up, dude. That was a peak ass stream where they were doing the dubs. I think I might try that game. That looks fun as fuck. But I do think it would be fun to do it multiplayer or like, I don't know, competitive or something. I need to find, I think it would be very fun to play. Very fun to play. But I do think that would be really good. Do it on LS Patreon? Dude, honestly, that would be fun to do with Aiden and Doug. I wonder if one of them wants to come over and do that. That'd be really fun. You got to be Peak again. So I heard Stans was trying to get a group together for Peak. I think we were going to wait till Lud beats Lies of P. Lud said he wants to do it, but after Lies of P. I think that's what happened. To finish Peak. I'll follow it up. Maybe never. Big A, did you notice that China hotels have giant windows in the bathrooms? I didn't particularly notice that. I did notice that a lot of China hotels aren't really hotels. They're just apartments, but they couldn't fill the apartments because there's an, oversupply of housing. So they're just turned them into hotels. But you get basically an apartment for a hotel price, and the hotel price is super cheap. It's like pretty sick. The hotel prices were insane. It's like Airbnb, yeah, I guess, but like everything. Big A, I have embarrassing confession to make. When I first started watching your streams, I heard you mention glizzies, but I had no idea that meant hot dogs. I only heard the word used to refer to guns. I thought, damn, white boy really about that life, kind of tough. And I am. I don't know what yeah, it's about guns, bro. Yes. They call me glizzy hands because I always have I'm gonna stay strapped. I always have two gats at all times, dude. That's where it fucking comes from. Yes. I stay strapped. That's what they're referring to. I play Hitman IRL, bro. They had to get a big security clearance for that Newsom interview. Big A, my boyfriend is a cloud security professional. Look at this chatter showing off her, or I guess his boyfriend, to all of these people without significant others. Is a cloud security professional at a multinational company that makes good money but is quite unfulfilled. He's our primary breadwinner, and the comp sci grad hiring is still not great. Should I encourage him to find a job he enjoys, or we just grin and bear it till things get better? Both your and Ari's input appreciated. You want me to call my wife in here and have her give input? You want me to go chase my wife down and tell her to give input on her life? No, I listen, it's tough because let me explain to you my process, right? A chatter will give me a message like this, and I think it is a sincere question, and I want to help however I can. But I just don't know enough about what you're like. You say quite unfulfilled. Does that mean he's like decently happy with his job, likes his boss, but like wishes he was doing more? Or is he like coming home depressed? Like there's nuance to this. If you are like literally suicidal from your job, you should leave no matter what. But if you're like, you know what, this job is pretty stable, pretty good, but I wish I was doing something more, then I would suggest staying at that job and like searching in your spare time. Because obviously searching for a job when you have a job is 100 times easier. It's 100 times easier. So that's my advice is like, I wouldn't jump and quit unless you really, really hated it is my honest answer. And yeah, like, I don't know. I do think that like, this is my opinion. Some people I'm sure have found work that every single aspect of it is enjoyable and they love all of it. But my sort of theory is that everything in some way has unenjoyable parts. That's just work. That's just jobs. All jobs. Jobs that I like, jobs that I don't like. There's parts of it that I don't like. So I wouldn't like be like, oh, I wish I could. I don't know. Like if you're constantly chasing this perfect sense of fulfillment, I feel like you'll be forever disappointed. I think what you're trying to find is like a holistic relationships, life, satisfaction with what you're producing at work. and the hours you keep and, that kind of thing. That's what you're chasing more than any like perfection. Gonna be watching Thorkening Thursday inside of Trader Joe's while I shop. I have an Enron hat on. Fellow chatter, look out for me for Trader Joe's. We can watch together. Are you advertising to other people inside the Trader Joe's you're in who are also Atrioc chatters on their phone who might find you and then watch together? I don't think that's likely. I don't think that's likely. I don't think that's a realistic watch party, to be honest, if I'm being for real. But I do hope you find your crew. Papa Wheelie, thank you for the prime. Let Texas, thank you for this 12 months. Seymour Butts, thank you for the prime. Very funny name. Dante Approves, thank you for the 65. X Kurt 2K, thank you for the 36. And Lambda, thank you for the 53. Do you guys go to Trader Joe's every time Big Guy goes live? Yeah, probably. Yo, Big Guy, I recently read an article talking about how the United States got absolutely smoked in a Ukraine drone exercise. Yeah, this is real. I saw the same thing. They did a mock, I don't know, what do they call them? Mock battle, stage battle, whatever. I forget what it's called. There's a word for it, but I'm not blanking on it. And a war game. Yeah, they did a war game with Ukrainian drones, and U.S. got smoked. It's just becoming more and more obvious that the $9 trillion we've spent in the past decade on the military has largely been siphoned off to pay for fucking boats for the executives of military contracting companies. Like, it's not being spent nearly enough on the actual military procurement, on the actual supplies and technological development. There's some stuff, but it's like few and far. It's like so much has been wasted. And everything costs 300x what it should cost. I know that pipe is leaky, but can't we just double the pipe size? Brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Here's the thing. Okay, imagine if a pipe is leaky. Right? We always talk about the fucking classic leaky pipe problem, where we pour a bunch of money in and we want a certain result out the bottom, but there's all these holes in it for people to fucking siphon off. Okay? But if we just pour so fucking much, all the dollars will fill all the gaps, dude. Okay? It'll like, we just pour so fucking much in there, and then that'll do it. Just put a second pipe around the first pipe. Use more viscous dollars. That's a hairy cock, bro. All right, you have a problem. First of all, you have a medical problem if this looks like a penis to you. But secondly, you have a fucking mental problem if you're seeing that. You need to go to the doctor. Anyway, that's the damn truth. It's the damn truth, bro. Ah. Bro drinking water out of a mason jar. First time chatter, so I have to respond to it. Yes, I am. Yes, I fucking am. Is there a problem? You do know that I'm a millennial, right? A mason jar is like, it's part of the deal. You're lucky I'm not listening to Stomp Clap and eating fucking truffle fries out of a tall basket. You're lucky, dude. You're lucky I'm doing a Harry Potter house quiz today. What is the avocado toast equivalent for Gen Z? What is the little splurge treat food item? Matcha? It probably is fucking matcha. It is fucking matcha. Hot honey? Peach, how old are you? Peach out age. 95? Bro, fucking, you don't know. You're a fucking millennial. 30s, bro. Don't come in here and be the expert on fucking Gen Z. You're in your 30s playing Pokemon, same as me, bro. Don't LARP. Did you see Dobby's grave thing? I did see this. Wait, bro. Millennial Aura undefeated. They like stopped an energy project from being built because it was the site of Dobby's grave. It's insane, bro. It's insane. Harry Potter fans like fucking stepped up. An expansive beach in Wales is the site of one of the oldest and saddest moments of the Harry Potter movie series. It's where Dobby, a freed house elf, dies in Harry's arms. Fans of the 2010 movie assembled a real memorial to the imaginary elf. But in 2019, the site was threatened by plans to run a large electrical cable under the beach as part of a multi-million-dollar effort to transport electricity between Ireland and Britain. Fans revolted. Holy! That's fucking beast. It's so much better than boomer NIMBYism. Do you know what I'm saying? Millennial NIMBYism is awesome because it's like, it's about Dobby. I have an idea on how to stop all these data centers. Dude, that's fucking perfect. Dude, everyone should set up Harry Potter memorial sites at the ground of data centers so that the people, millennials will revolt. Although, honestly, millennials aren't really capable of stopping it here in America. I think it would have to be, what would boomers value? You should put like Elvis's gravesite on a data center lot. I mean, Elvis. Who's like a prime boomer? Who's the boomer icon? The Beatles, maybe? Reagan? Trump? Yeah, I don't know. Oh, Bill Cosby Memorial. Okay, bro. Okay. Rolling Stones, bro, they're still alive, still performing. Dude, I remember my dad took me to see the Rolling Stones when I was like, I don't know, 15? I mean, this is like 2 decades. This is like, it's like 2 decades ago almost. And he was like, yeah, we have to go. This might be their last performance. Bro, it has been fucking 18 years or something, and they're still doing it. It's insane how old the Rolling Stones are. They're still on their final tour. Dude, I'm going to find the fucking year. This was 2006. It was 20 years ago. It was 20 years ago in 2006. Alice Cooper opened for the Rolling Stones, and my dad legitimately told me, bro, this could be their last year. We have to, you have to go. I want my son to see this peak rock music before they move on. That's crazy. That is crazy. They didn't expect Keith to sober up. Who? The Rolling Stones didn't expect Chief Keef to sober up, and that's why they're still performing? Is that? And then he became an Eminem head? No. You got the timeline wrong. In 2006, I would have just been past my peak Eminem fandom. I was an Eminem fan in 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003. The G Unit Eminem show era as a young man, dyed hair, fucking blonde. And so my dad was like, you have this rap shit, dude. No more rap. Rap is just the word crap without the C. What do they say? What do fucking boomers say? They say some shit like that, bro. And then so you had to go watch. I had to go watch Rolling Stone. What act would you want your son/daughter to see? If I were to have a kid, what act would I want them to see to pass along my millennial? Honestly, like, I'm not joking. It's like Linkin Park or something. I would like take them to see Linkin Park. Hamilton. Making my kid watch Hamilton. I don't know what I would do. I don't know. I mean, like, yeah, it's like all the stuff the millennials are going to. Some Zoomers are doing this too. It's like the Warp tours that are going around with all the old '90s and early 2000s bands, like Fall Out Boy and Linkin Park and yeah, Avril Lavigne and But I think I would take my kid to watch fucking. Did you see Kyle Gordon did a really incredible. He obviously did Mr. Jambo, which is like the song of the summer, very hilarious. But he also did a millennial parody of this one.
You ever have one of those nights?
He did a fucking perfect millennial parody.
Those nights you know you'll live forever, where everything's to the positive and not to the negative. Well, if you have, I want you to stay quiet, don't dance, and definitely don't sing along. Said no one ever. We are young. There's a fire in our soul. We go big or go home together. We are young. That's right. We're black and we're white, but we all will be tonight forever.
The fucking lensless colored glasses is so fucking 2010, dude. Oh, it's so loud.
'Cause we will never die. No one I know will ever die.
It's a banger, dude. Wait, it just
Your
hits.
mom and dad will never die. Yup, we did a thing. We let our voices ring. Politicians hear us sing. Stop lying. So now let's fill our cups. With what? We'll fill them up with love. 'Cause we don't give up. I'm buying. PBR's on me, everyone. 'Cause we will never die.
I did a thing.
No one I know will ever die.
Anyway, it's pretty fucking perfect. I gotta be honest with you. It was spot on. But then he also, like, he took it one step farther. I wonder if I have it. He took it one step farther. Yeah. And he got on a news show and did that shit live.
He is taking the internet by storm with his unique characters and comedic songs, and now he's bringing his music to the Good Day stage.
Comedian Kyle Gordon is here as his popular character Cody to perform his new viral Millennium anthem. Here's Cody Red Wing and the Broken Hearts with We Will Never Die.
You ever have one of those nights?
It's just funny, dude.
Said no one ever.
That like makes me want to fucking cry.
You're
And then they interviewed him.
Thank you. Yeah, and I do believe that. Fantastic. Thank you.
I
Thank
would
you.
say you killed it, but we will never die.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Yeah, and I do believe that.
You do?
Yes, actually, I both mean it literally, spiritually, and figuratively as well. So, if you believe it, anything's possible.
So tell us a little bit more about Cody.
So, you might recognize me. My song's gotten popular recently, but you probably remember me from season 11 of American Idol. I was a quarterfinalist. I lost to Braxton and Cransley. They're great competitors, but I respect them. And I was sort of infamous. I was the guy.
It's so funny. He's just making it all, but they don't know. It's so peak. It's so peak. It really makes my fucking day. He's been on a run, dude. He's just on a run. I thought I'm loving Kyle Gordon lately. Anyway, you guys. Anyway, I think that we can all agree that millennials are the best generation, and nothing about them is cringe. I think that we settled on that. We looked at it out. We checked it out. No, we all agree millennials are the best. Nothing is cringe that they do, and we've nailed it. Okay, perfect. Hi, Atrioc. You are truly the greatest streamer ever. One day we'll both be on top of Twitch, looking at each other and thinking back to now from our humble beginnings. It's fucking true, bro. Fucking true. Just you and me at the top, bro. You and me at the top, nothing but the fakes below. 100%. 100%. I can't wait for that. Can't wait. Did you ever listen to ska music? Look like you would. First of all, what the fuck does that mean? No. First of all, no. Unless you count like Sublime, which is kind of like alt ska a little bit. Like, but no, I didn't. So I don't know what the fuck you're insinuating. So yes, no. Just literally having a little bit of Sublime on a playlist is not like you're a ska guy. Hey, Big A, first time chatter, long time viewer. Your videos have been helping me. I'm curious on your view on something like an equal time will come out for me. Well, we're so far beyond that. This guy's asking, we used to have these laws that if you were a broadcast network and you got the broadcast license and you're going to put news on it, you had to give like equal time to certain things to prevent, like essentially like a Fox News where you're really polarized on one side. The point is that broadcast news is already, first of all, way through the looking glass gone and completely unsalvageable. It's only for boomers. It's boomer slop, mind poison. It's already gone. But also, we've already moved so far beyond that in terms of the media environment. People aren't even using TV as their source of news anymore. Even boomers get more of their news from fucking Facebook and social media than TV now. TV's really dying. So I don't think you'd be able to salvage anything from that. I don't think you'd be able to salvage anything from that. And certainly it would be strange in an internet environment to like mandate that Facebook shows you what? Asmongold clips and Hassan clips at the same time. What does that mean? Like, there's no way you can fucking balance it. It's not gonna, algorithms wouldn't work like that. That's the new ground news. Yeah, I don't think you could pull that off. TV is still pretty big in Asian countries. I would disagree. Not that it's not like something, but it's percentage wise. Oh, let me give myself a little more time. In that, mobile phone penetration is even bigger in Asian countries, I think, in terms of like as a source of news and media entertainment. We will never die. Government is being pushed to ban gambling ads in Australia, but Albo doesn't want to because it could kill legacy broadcasting companies. Dude. Government is being pushed to do X change to adapt to problem, but they don't want to because of X legacy thing that makes money off of it, is the story of the 2020s. It's the story of the last fucking 20 years. It doesn't matter what it is, bro. Here's what we all have to get through our heads, bro. Anything that we want to change is going to cause someone somewhere to lose out because they've established a profitable relationship with the status quo. That's just, someone's going to have to lose. Someone will take some pain. Someone has to take a pain. There is no win-win situation where everybody wins and nobody takes pain. I wish we just all agreed on that. We all just agreed like, hey, everything we're proposing, we got to figure out who's going to take the pain and we have to all agree on it. And we're going to outvote them if not. As long as boomers don't take pain, I'm in. The cosmetic timer had so much hype. I know, right? What if I click it up? What if I click it down? Poor Graham. Why don't we make Atrioc take all the pain and the rest of us can prosper? Why doesn't the U.S. just give me a $38 trillion bill for all the debt and then say, well, he's not good for it? Okay? That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. Yeah, and then shoot me or push me off a fucking cliff and then be like, well, guess it's gone. Give a little of the national debt to every U.S. citizen, have them all file bankruptcy and wait 7 years. That's really funny to say. We're essentially doing this. We're doing this in the aggregate with all of our nationwide. I mean, but you know, it's per person. It's like 200 grand or something. Yeah, it's. If you were to actually split the national debt up among every man, woman, and child in the United States. It's actually only $120,000 per person. That includes every single person, even a child born 10 minutes ago. If you divide it among only taxpayers, aka like adults with a job, it's $287,000 per person. And it grows by $14 per person every day. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. That is... Wait, that's not even impossible? It fucking is. Of course it is, bro. You're thinking of it like you're thinking of people with stability and nobody can absorb a $120,000 bill in most of America, let alone a 4-year-old. Okay? The rich could tank it? Dude, it adds up to 39 trillion, so Elon Musk couldn't tank it. They can't tank it. Most of the debt's owned by Americans, so as bad as it sounds. It is exactly as bad as it sounds. This line of thought, I've heard it a bunch of times. It makes no sense and is not relevant. Okay? If I loan someone money, I still expect to get it paid back. It's still an asset on my balance sheet. Okay? It doesn't matter if that person's also American. By the way, the majority of the U.S. debt is owned by fucking other countries. But it's like U.S. pension funds have borrowed from loaned money to the U.S. government, expect that money back in order to pay out the pensions that everyone's expecting. If they don't get it paid back, the old person doesn't get their pension. So the debt is real. It's very real, even if it's denominated to other Americans. Good, fuck them. All right, well, you're talking about pensions, like just somebody who worked fucking 50 years in a job and wants that's like not that crazy. They probably should be able to get their fucking pension, bro. Should have worked more. Loot box system for pensions. Now this is not crazy, dude. Because people might voluntarily give up their money when they're old. All we have to do is get them all hooked on gambling. Okay, it's like a debt gotcha, right? So you're an old person and you're like, I wish I had a little bit more money in my retirement. You press a button and that whatever $100 you spend goes to the national debt, but it rolls a wheel. And if you get it right, ding, 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 pshing, you get, fucking 10,000 or whatever. Or you get, so we can just fucking get everybody to start siphoning off some of their retirement money. This is really just a casino. This is just a debt casino. AOC has 15K in her 401k. There's no way she revealed that. Right? Wow, really? Well, that's in 2021. That's in 2018. This seems like, I can't tell if this is real because I think you're getting this from Twitter, but when I look at the source, it looks like it's from 2018. Anyway, that's not a lot to have in your savings for 1K at 37 or 38. X is the world's most reliable source. Well, that's damn true. Big A, I just joined. When is the presentation? I have no way of knowing. That's fucking It's unknowable. It's unknowable, my friend. I'm sorry, but it's really just a matter of. All right, let me just make this last slide look good. Okay. Okay. Okay, this looks good. This looks fucking good. I feel good about it. I'm gonna give myself exactly 1 more minute. I think I'm ready. Okay, we do this, and then I think we're gonna do best tweets. That should be the plan for today is best tweets. Because almost fell out of my damn chair. Because we have a best tweets ready. And so that should be fun. And then I'll probably want to chill. I've been yapping enough, so I'll probably do best tweets and then but if not, it depends on how I feel after this presentation, because it's kind of a big one. Then I might not do best tweets, and I'll do it tomorrow. And we do Almost Friday in Smallville after this. It could be that. Depends. I don't know what we'll do. Let's see. Medicare for all presentation after this? Well, I think my presentation would be really unpopular because I don't like Medicare and I don't like Medicare for all. I want universal health care, but I don't like Medicare and how it's done. I think it would just be horrible. I think it would be really bad. But I think most people that say Medicare for all is really just trying to say universal health care and they want to use a phrase people can understand. But actually the way Medicare is set up is like this massive fucking just siphon system for insurance companies. It's like horrible. And I think if they do Medicare for all, it would just bankrupt the country even more. Like it would be horrible. I think it would be truly disastrous. So I hope they're saying it in like a, this is how regular people talk kind of way. Okay, wait. Let me get a fucking water real quick because my voice is parched. No, I'm not doing coke. Talk amongst yourselves. Talk amongst yourselves. Hey, over. Oh, I got a mason jar full of water. And I got a story in my mind. I want to talk about the yen. Okay, last check on the Clacton election. Votes are being counted. Turnout was 43%. I think Farage got it. Damn it. Damn it! You know, it'd be cool to know is how many votes Binface got. It would be, dude, there's so many articles about Binface and Farage, though. How Nigel Farage ended up running against a man dressed as a trash can. Like, all the articles don't have Farage's face, they have Binface. So it is, like, pretty fun. Like, Binface still got the fucking people's hearts. He still captured the internet. But it's kind of hard to change the voters in Clacton. He's still got motion. I think he's building up for a prime ministerial run. Dude, The UK has the chance to do the funniest thing ever. It would be a true sign of how everything is falling off in the 2020s if you get a literally trash can man to run that. That would be so prime minister, dude. Holy. Holy. You got that in the bin. All right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I really want to talk about this. This has been something that I've wanted to make a presentation on for a while, and the events of last week and now this week have made it quite appropriate. So I need you to do one thing for me, and that is when you see yourself in this video, you say, Poggy's me. Actually, wait, Crane, do you want to? Crane. Crane. Any second now. Crane. Crane! I'm prompting you. We're waiting. This is your one job. Hold on. I'm going to ban him. 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 I'm on the phone now. Okay, he's banned. Hey, someone else asked me about Japan. Someone asked me about Japan. Someone just say what's going on in Japan. Yeti, someone do something gay. What's up with Japan, though? Great question. Let's find out in this presentation. Fuck. Fuck, dude. Fuck. One more time. Fuck. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, today's Marketing Monday takes us to the far-off land of Japan. Glorious Nippon Des. A land of charming anime women and well-dressed British men. But because this is actually a very interesting finance story, it will also take us to America, land of less well-dressed British men and chopped anime women. This is a currency story, and it's something I'm genuinely fascinated by, and I think it's gone underreported in the past week. The implications of it are quite far-reaching. And before you get bored, this is not a currency story necessarily about the dollar. It's a currency story about the yen. Oh, you're interested now. Now you're perking up. Wait a minute. This right here, my friends, is a 1,000 yen bill. That is an important psychological barrier within Japan. Many companies try to price their meals or their value meals at around the 1,000 yen mark so people feel like they're affordable. In fact, you can get this entire meal, at least until recently, for 1,000 yen in Japan. Incredible deal. Now, what do you think 1,000 yen is in dollars? Well, as of last week, it was about 6. For $6, you get 1,000 yen. It was pretty insane. The yen has been in a pretty generational free fall. Okay, I don't know why I used the hand-drawn one here. I don't know. I have the actual graph. I think I just left that in. Okay, the yen has been in a free fall for 2 decades. I don't know why I included that. I have the actual graph. So the yen has been declining and declining and declining and declining, basically since the 2008 financial crisis. And recently, as of literally last week, it hit a 40-year low. The weakest it's been in literally anyone in this chat's entire life. That is how weak the yen has been. What does that mean? Well, for you, if you don't live in Japan, what it means is luxury shopping, dining, transport, flight tickets, hotels in Japan are way cheaper for you. It means everybody you know is traveling to Japan right now. It means Japan's vacation trip. That's what it means. Tourists to Japan have recently hit a record 37 million. And it's on track for 60 million by 2030. That's absurd. That is an absurd number of tourists. People are flooding the country because the deals are so good. If you get paid in euro or Canadian dollars or American dollars or whatever, your dollar goes so much farther. Again, I was just talking to a spectator who's a Canadian. He's like, yeah, and he streams like twice a week. He just went to Japan and balled out. So it's crazy. Now, if you're Japanese, what this means is, wow, that's a lot of tourists. They're starting to put up signs. They get a little bit frustrated. But it also means that your salary paid in yen does not go as far. Things you buy from overseas are now more expensive. Your travel overseas is more expensive. Japanese tourists, as in leaving the country, have been declining because they can't afford it. And obviously this has been happening for a while now. For decades, the yen has been getting steadily weaker. But in the past year, it has gotten particularly bad. This is the 1 year chart. In the past year, basically every single month, instead of being like flat for a bit, then a little bit down, it was every single month, the yen is pretty significantly weaker than the month before. People were noticing that their savings were kind of evaporating in real time. And then all of a sudden, last week, the yen spiked. The yen spiked massively in one night. What the hell happened? There was this massive, massive yen spike in one night. And when we looked into it, there was a certain flag on all those yen that just got bought. An American flag, because America had stepped in to intervene and boost the yen for the first time since 1998. Now listen, maybe you're not a currency trading follower. I don't blame you. But a country stepping in to defend its own currency, that's rare enough. But a country stepping in to defend another country's currency, like, never happens. It is extremely rare. In fact, the last time it happened was with America and Japan in 1998, and it was way, way smaller and way, way more targeted. This is like an extremely rare event. So why? Why is the US stepping in to defend the Japanese currency? Are they trying to make your Japan trip worse? What are they doing? Well, if you ask Donald J. Trump, he'll tell you it's because we're just good friends. And he'll also mention one other thing.
Mr. President, why is the U.S. intervening to support the Japan yen at this time?
To support who?
To support the Japanese currency.
Because we have a good relationship with Japan. We're very strong, very, very strong financially. They are, they have a weakening yen, and they wanted a little bit of help, and we're always there for Japan. Japan's been very good to us, with the exception, of course, of Pearl Harbor. They were not good.
Of course. With the exception, of course, of Pearl Harbor. Which, by the way, if you're shocked and laughing at that, just know that isn't even the first time he's mentioned Pearl Harbor in front of the Japanese Prime Minister.
Surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan? Okay? Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor?
Oh my God. By the way, this woman on the left is Sanai Takaichi, the Prime Minister of Japan. She'll be important later, but we'll get to that. First, we have to do a little bit of a deeper dive. If you don't believe Trump's explanation, then why? Well, to answer that, we got to take a time machine back to 1980s Japan. Editor, put some cool Japanese 80s music on this. Okay? Look at the aura. Look at the style. My God. The vibes are crazy. The vibes are crazy. 1980s Japan was an era of absolute prosperity. It was called the Japanese economic miracle.
They were the years of prosperity.
I'm so sorry. That is loud as fuck.
Japan seemed unstoppable, an organism growing without limit, fueled by a financial metabolism that appeared never to tire. They were the years of prosperity, of euphoria and color. City pop set the rhythm of an urban life that seemed inexhaustible, echoing through brightly lit avenues and crowded night spots. It was a society convinced that the future would be radiant, buoyed by the promise of boundless prosperity.
Wow. Incredibly exciting times in Japan in the 80s. And it was fueled by this economic miracle. These are all Japanese cars being sent overseas. They dominated the global car market. In fact, a very popular book in both Japan and America at that time was written by Ezra Vogel called Japan as Number One, Lessons for America. Everyone else was looking at Japan to see how to fix their economy, how to be more like them. If you're a fan of cyberpunk, you may have noticed that everything in cyberpunk is like Japanese themed. That's because that genre started in the 80s and everyone thought in the future, Japan will run the world. This is why there's like Arasaka Corporation and all that stuff. This all comes from that era of the economy where everyone thought Japan would dominate. The richest people in the world. Nowadays, it's like Elon Musk and Bill Gates. At the time, in the late 80s, it was all Japanese people. And I'll make this smaller, you can see. Spots number 1, number 2, number 3, and like number 8 are all Japanese. It's like hard to imagine now, but Japan's economy was so thriving and so dominant. I've shown this before, but in a movie in the 1980s, Back to the Future 2, where he travels to the future, this is what he imagines the future to be like. He's an elderly man working at this job he hates, and his boss is Japanese. And he's wearing a twin rising sun tie.
Fly! Fujitsu-san, konnichiwa! McFry! I was monitoring that scan you just interfaced. You are terminated!
And he's getting fired by his Japanese boss. This is the future they imagined in 80s America because of the soaring Japanese economy. It was a party that seemed like it would never end. Real estate prices surged so massively that many people in Japan got extraordinarily wealthy just on owning a single home, okay? This is Japan through the 70s, 80s, and up to 1991. And then something happened. Something happened in 1991. Well, right at the peak, right here, this square mile of real estate around the Imperial Palace in Tokyo, this photograph of this land is worth more than all the real estate in California. That's the peak. That is the 91 peak. And then something happened in 1991. I was born, and it all crashed. I'm sorry, Japan. I cursed it. No, the bubble popped. In 1991, the Japanese real estate and asset stock bubble all popped at once, and there was a massive crash. The Japanese land and real estate prices began a decline that lasted 15 straight years of downward revisions in price. The Japanese stock market plummeted and didn't recover for decades. 20 years later, it was still down 75% from the peak. And so Japan had a crisis on their hands. Everyone had lost their savings, everyone had lost their wealth, and there was companies about to go bankrupt and unemployed people. And so they had to figure out what to do. And their plan was, we will stimulate the economy by cutting taxes and raising spending, AKA stimulus, baby. If we spend enough, we can get the economy juiced again, okay? And they began a package of stimulus that happened almost every single year. Now, this doesn't even include the 90s. These are all headlines from different years in like the last 15 years. Just stimulus, 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 stimulus. They just keep trying to find a way to juice the economy back. Additionally, in order to afford all that, but the 90s was even bigger. The 90s had like, 10% of GDP was all on stimulus. To afford all that stimulus, because, if you're going to borrow money to spend on things, well, you don't want interest payments to be too high. So what do you got to do? Cut! You got to cut those interest rates, bro. You've got to slice them down. So currently in America, our interest rates are around 4 or 5%. That's where Japan's was in the 1990s. Then they dropped dramatically to try and juice the economy, basically down to zero, and stayed there. It became almost free to borrow money. At one point, Japan experimented with negative interest rates, where literally that's like putting your money in a bank and they take parts of it out to pay themselves interest. You pretty much have to spend it. Now, obviously, that never happened to actual retail people and retail banks. It happened to banks with other banks. But the idea was Japan adopted negative interest rates in a world first attempt to like force people to spend. And, you know, actual bank, like if you're an actual person putting your money in a bank, they wouldn't go negative on it because no one would use it. But they went as low as 0.001% interest for regular people at banks. So essentially, you got no interest at all for putting your money in a bank. So people started taking their money out of a bank and putting it into saves. In fact, one of the only companies that really thrived in Japan at the time was one selling home saves because they started to buy a ton of them. So people could have a place to store their yen because there's no point in putting it in a bank if they pay absolutely no interest. Okay? So the question is, did all this stimulus work? Did it fix Japan? Well, it's a complicated question. The answer is sorta, in that it stabilized Japan. It prevented all these big companies from collapsing. It prevented a massive rise in unemployment. It did sort of keep things stable, but under the surface, things began to rot. These companies couldn't go bankrupt, but they were sort of zombified. Okay? Rather than creating or accelerating economic activity, negative interest rates basically led to the zombification of the economy over time. And what that means is nothing was really allowed to fail. So instead of failing, you just keep borrowing money that had no cost to keep things kind of just going along. You know, you kept people employed, but they weren't working on things productive. There was no real plan. And so what happens? But broadly, they kept things stable. Maybe that was the goal. Under the surface, there was rot, but things were broadly okay. But what happens when you cut taxes and increase borrowing at the same time? What do you get a lot of if you're a government? Does anyone have a thought? You cut taxes, you increase borrowing. That's right. You get a lot of debt. That's the recipe for debt. It's a two-part recipe. You get a lot of debt. So this is Japan's debt in 1991, relatively low as a percent of GDP. It went on a straight upward line, essentially, for the next 3 decades. By 2005, which is like here, Japan was the 6th most indebted nation in the world. By 2010, they were the most. By 2015, they were still the most above Greece. Okay? That is in terms of debt to GDP. And by today, Japan has reached astronomical levels of debt to GDP. 255%. It's actually even higher. This is like 3 years ago. So they have an enormous amount of debt to GDP, from the amount they make and the amount they spend. And this is not really you or I's problem, at least so far in this story, but it is his problem. Kazuo Ueda. This is the central banker of Japan. Think of him like Jerome Powell. This is Jerome Powell, but Japan. Okay? And he thinks about this all the time. He is recently new to this job in the past few years, and he has to worry about this massive, massive debt overhang that Japan has built up in these 3 lost decades of trying to keep things all stable. So how debt issuance basically works for a government, I'll keep it really simple, is they go out and say, hey, we need $100 billion to fund our government, and we're going to offer you an IOU. And then the world says, okay, what interest rate are you going to give us? What's the interest payments we're going to receive? And then he'll go like 1%. He'll say something low. And then the entire world will join hands and say, fuck no. Okay. All right, I'll move it here. They'll say, no, we don't want 1%. We want higher. And so he will have to raise the interest rates. They'll go to 2% or 3%. The problem is, currently, with their ultra low interest rates and small payments, Japan still spends 1 out of every 4 tax dollars just on interest payments because their debt is so big. So even with the tiniest 1% or less interest payment, it already eats up a huge chunk of their government budget. And they have a lot of old people only getting older. So you can't cut Social Security. That's already becoming a huge part of it. As the world predicts that they'll have to raise interest rates, it's already looking like this for their budget expenses. Okay? By 2030, it's like doubled or tripled what they have to spend on interest payments if they keep raising interest rates. So it's a path they don't want to go down. So instead, for the past few decades, what they've done is rather than raise this number to 2 or 3 or 4 to get more people to buy in, they took it down to 0 and basically forced Japanese savings to invest in Japanese IOUs. So it's like if you have money in a Japanese bank, they have to buy Japanese debt. If you have money in a Japanese pension fund, they have to buy Japanese debt. So he offers them to 0% and they have to say, okay, okay. Okay? That's how they've managed to maintain this. That's why most of their debt is owed only within Japan. It is to pension funds and banks and other things. But you know what? It looks to me like despite all this being a little weird, it's worked for the past few decades. They've managed it. Is Japan a little bit stagnated? Sure, but it's stable. Things are good. Okay? They're still making great anime that we can all enjoy. Is there any problems that'll crop up? Well, it turns out, yes, there is. It turns out there is one last whack-a-mole they can't seem to pin down. And that is deranged financial traders. Or not even deranged, you're like, it's a smart play. Here's the problem. I'll try to keep it simple, okay? If you artificially make your interest rates really low, like let's say 0.1% in Japan, and then some other country has theirs more normalized, like 4% in America, then some smart, keen minds might go, hey, why don't I just go to Japan, borrow a fuck ton of yen with a very low payback price, then I go over to America and invest it in American debt earning 4%. And I just capture the differential. And I can do this as much as I want to get basically free money. This is, quite simply, the yen carry trade. They don't just buy American debt. They can buy European debt or European stocks or American stocks. Anything that returns higher than this is a pretty good deal because this is a guaranteed payback of a very small amount. It's arbitrage. Now, they're always trying to crack down on this, but because they've kept this number artificially low, the incentive is so high and it keeps leaking through, just to put it quite simply. And so, as money is borrowed in Japan and converted to other currencies, this makes the yen weaker. And that is a huge impetus behind the yen slowly but surely getting weaker over time because they have this low interest rate they cannot raise without being able to unafford their debt. Okay? We're caught up on like the mechanics. This is how Japan defends this whack-a-mole. They have one out. Okay? See these little spikes here? Let me get a little different color. See these little spikes here where it kind of like bounces back? That is when Japan tries to defend the yen and stop this from happening. And what they do is, Japan is a wealthy nation. They do a lot of trade with a lot of countries. And they hold in their foreign reserves a lot of other currency. They don't just have yen. They have piles of dollars. They have piles of euros. They have piles of RMB. Okay? And they take these piles every now and then and they surprise buy a bunch of yen. They surprise take a bunch of their dollars and buy a bunch of yen. And what that does is that drives the price up the yen temporarily. And the point is to scare away these speculators because now their little scheme is getting disrupted. It wants to scare them away. I call this like the pigeon theory, okay? Imagine Japan as a house with a bunch of tasty breadcrumbs in front of it, okay? When the breadcrumbs are there, slowly but surely, inevitably, these pigeons will appear and try to peck them all up, okay? And Japan doesn't want the pigeons, but they can't get rid of the breadcrumbs. So every now and then, they try to stomp and clap and scare away the pigeons. But the way you do that is by Kazuo Ueda coming outside and basically throwing dollars at them. Okay? He's throwing money. That's the only way that works mechanically is spending their reserves to try and scare them away temporarily. So it works. They do scare the pigeons away. But then, inevitably, they come back because of the tasty breadcrumbs. And you can see it on a chart like this, okay? This is people betting on the yen. The majority of time, people are net short, okay, betting against the yen. They bet against it, and then bam, it spikes up. They buy a bunch of yen, the government buys a bunch of yen, and scares them away temporarily. And what the Japanese government is trying to do, I'm trying to simplify this, what they're trying to do is make it so the speculators just get too nervous about it and go speculate somewhere else. But like, go mess with Argentina's currency. Go mess with someone else's currency. Don't bet on our currency because we'll defend it. That's the idea. But the problem is this interest rate differential just makes it too juicy. The pigeons will always come back. Okay? So as they get used to it, there are more and more pigeons. And the only way to defend it now is to use more and more money to defend it. And Japanese reserves are only so big. They're a wealthy country. They have a lot of reserves. But like, if you look into the future, it's like, wait a minute, this is not a permanent plan. We're running out of money to just throw at these pigeons to scare away and defend our country, our currency. That is where America comes in. That is where we get to America in this story, because here's the deal. If Japan starts to need more and more dollars to defend their currency from an ever-increasing amount of speculators, the only way they can get that much dollars on short notice is to sell their massive holdings of U.S. debt. They are the largest U.S. debt holder in the world. And America does not want that. America is very, it's not just Japan's problem at that point. It spreads to our problem. See, while Trump is clutching the flag here as our face of America, the real person concerned about this is Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Scott Bessent is very aware of this problem. He is aware, as of now, 2026, that Doge has failed. Who could believe it? Doge has failed. In July, 1 month ago, we had a massive budget deficit, much bigger than the year before. The deficit is not only not shrinking, it is massively increasing. Okay? And so when he goes out to the market and says, hey, we need $100 billion, here's a US IOU, he's not getting 1%. And he's not even getting what we used to get, which is like 4%. He now has to ask for like 5 or 6 to get anyone to buy our debt. US borrowing costs have been soaring this year and last year. Okay? They're getting very, very unsustainably high. They just hit the highest cost since 2001, which was a recession. Okay? These are our borrowing costs on a 30-year debt. So the reason Scott Bessent is like, hey, we need to kind of get involved in this Japan thing is Japan needs to buy our debt, not sell it. Okay? Bessent buying the yen is shielding US bonds before we have to do $125 billion in auctions very soon. We keep doing these auctions and we need more people to buy them, not people to sell them. So that's the worry. That's the fear. Now, the first thing that Scott Bessent tried to do is what all central banks try to do, which is stomp and clap. Like, use your words. Try to scare people away without actually having to spend money because they really don't want to spend their reserves. So what he did was, this is a really fucking stupid idea. He was on camera at a very public event and he pretended to not notice that he wrote down to do buy Japanese yen and left it right in front of a photographer to take a photo of. To try and like convince the market, oh, I better not speculate on the yen. They might buy it, okay? And obviously people suss that out really quickly. Even the Japan Times was like this hilariously staged to-do list featuring just one item, buy Japanese yen. So now they had to actually buy it. The problem is, if you spend our dollars to buy yen, well, that doesn't really help us. We're just draining our dollar reserves, making the dollar weaker. So what they had to do was the US had to use its euro reserves to buy a bunch of yen. Okay? They took all the euros we had saved up and bought a bunch of yen to spike the price of yen to help save Japan. That was the big plan of Scott Bessent, and he did it a few days ago. And that's where we got this pop. Holy shit, they saved it. They defended it. Now, if I had made this video a week ago, that's where the presentation would end. But luckily, I've been busy. And so now we are a week later and we get to see, did this work? And the answer, unequivocally, is no. No, it didn't. It did not scare the pigeons away for more than a day. Yen sinks as effect of US-Japan intervention fades. Why the historic US-Japan intervention has failed to halt the yen slide. US and Japan just spent billions to try and save the yen. Why is it already losing ground? Look, the chart looks like this, bro. The second the intervention stopped, the yen started to weaken immediately. The pigeons are in force now. A lot of people smell blood in the water because the fact is, when something as crazy as this, as the U.S. stepping in to try and save a currency happens, it doesn't show a sign of strength. It's a sign of weakness. It's a sign of, dare I say, desperation. Okay? Additionally, because they couldn't use dollars, Scott Bessent had to use euros to pull off this little trick. And he did not tell the European Central Bank. He blindsided them. So instead of being buddy-buddy, which is what all the major allied central banks are supposed to be, this is, again, like Jerome Powell's era, where they would all hang out in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and make sure they were aligned to present a united front of central banking. Scott Bessent went behind their back. And so now Europe is like, what the fuck, bro? Why aren't you including us in these conversations about these overnight attempts to save the yen? Now, what's extra interesting about this to me is that, I saw this tweet recently that said, really poignant. It said, all roads eventually lead back to the interest you had as a child. It's really powerful. You know what I'm saying? Describes growing up and rediscovering things that you once enjoyed. Scott Bessent, as a young man, was a currency trader. Okay? Scott Bessent knows almost better than anyone, certainly anyone in government, about how these things work. And when he was 29 years old, I couldn't find a photo of him younger than 50, so this is the best you get. When he was 29 years old, he famously helped break the Bank of England by being essentially one of the pigeons. He is well aware that the government cannot defend this by throwing a little money at it to try and, he knows from his youth it doesn't work, which means if he is doing it now on the other side of the trade, if he's on the government side and trying to do this, he is fucking desperate. He's not stupid. He's desperate because he has lived experience. Again, when he was 29, they bet the UK could not defend its currency the way that they're trying to do now with the yen. And he was right. They tried to do the defense. He kept betting against it and they made billions, okay? He knows, which means he is fucking desperate. Additionally, on the Japan side, the only way you could realistically fix this in a real way, not in a short-term way by throwing money at it, the real way would be like a real sanity check on Japanese government debt, spending, and interest rates. But right now, they are led by Sanai Takaichi, who, aside from being quoted about Pearl Harbor, is Trump's friend. She's pretty close to Trump. And what do you think her economic plan is for Japan? That's right. Cut taxes, increase borrowing, and even more stimulus. That is her plan. At the end of the cliff, her plan is to do the same thing. Abenomics. This post I saw was one of the reasons I wanted to make this presentation. It really stuck with me. This is a Japanese professor. This is translated. In a critical situation where the long accumulated side effects of Abenomics are on the verge of exploding. Again, Japan is at the kind of the end of the rope of all the damages of this long-term debt. The fact is that a new devotee of these Abenomics who utterly fails to grasp economics and lacks even basic knowledge of financial and economic matters serves as our nation's prime minister is nothing short of a national crisis level tragedy. Choices always come back to haunt us as consequences. This is what I feel so deeply in my bones for a lot of leadership across all of the Western nations, especially my country, but also nations in Europe. This is why I think economic literacy is so important and why I talk about economic matters more than others, because I think they are just under-discussed and they are slowly but surely the rot. This debt and rot is what is eating away at our ability to have a functional society. Okay? So Takaichi is going to try this and it is not going to work. And so the desperate central bankers and Scott Bessent are resorting after this failure this week of going back to stomping and clapping. Okay? They're saying, hey, we're warning you, we're going to keep defending the yen. We're not going to hesitate to do it again. But we know it's not going to work until they fix the actual root of the problem. And so the chorus of pigeons is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger until the fucking coos of them drown out everything else. This is the world we're living in. This is the debt cliff that we're approaching. And you're going to find out more about it on the next Marketing Monday. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching, okay? That's my update. That's my update on what's going on in Japan. Hope you enjoyed. I think that could have been a relatively simple presentation, but I wanted to take you in like the backstory of like how everything works and how you got there. I know it was a little financially dense. I know there's a lot of mechanics in there. I didn't know if it was too much, but I wanted to like explain everything in like a simple way so you can kind of get why it works and why they do the choices they make. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Hope you enjoyed. That was the prez. And now we can do other things. We can do other things. It could be really fun. Actually, I can answer questions too. In a bit, and then we'll do. We'll watch Almost Friday. Maybe we'll chill. Maybe we'll watch. Do best tweets. Honestly, we could do that. I literally feel like I have enough energy. Actually. All right, what's the question? Sorry, I'm reading it now. Is there any other solution other than decrease GDP? That would be the best way. Big growth increases would be the best and cleanest way. That would be the way that gets them out of it. But hard to do. Easier said than done. I understand what the U.S. has to gain by doing that. Did I not explain it? Maybe rewatch it, but that's the whole point of the presentation. So I'm trying to, like, I can't do the whole thing again. Japan has a lot of American debt. And if they have to defend their currency, they have to sell our debt. We don't want them to do that because we need them to buy it. So that's why we did it. That's why we are defending their currency. If Doge didn't have, we'd be in a better place. Yeah, definitely. Doge was a huge failure. But I don't know if we'd be in like a much better place. We'd just be in a no different place. I guess we'd be in a better place because he caused a lot of damage. But like what I'm saying is Doge did not cut the deficit at all. Zero. Our deficit is bigger than it was before Doge. July over July, this year to last year, is a massive increase. So it's, we've done nothing. The debt is getting extremely big. It's already big, but it's getting bigger under Trump. Is there any tractable techniques that Japan could do to prevent speculation of their currency? So there's like capital controls you could do to prevent money leaving your country. It's kind of what China does to keep their currency artificially low. But it requires like extremely, extremely locked down like banking systems, trade, everything. It's like it has a lot of other side effects, a lot of bad side effects. So it's the way they would actually fix it is raising interest rates. Yeah, but that's what they can't do because they can't afford it. Am I going to Japan in November? Can the yen stay shit until then? Yeah, don't worry about it. You're going to go to Japan in November. You're going to have a great trip, and it's going to be quite affordable. The Japanese yen, even after the fucking boost, wasn't good. It wasn't strong. They're just trying to defend it around the 160 level, 160 yen, $2. But they can't even do that. It's still getting weaker. I would not worry about it, bro. Is Europe going to do anything about best in selling euros for the yen? Depends. I mean, I think it's a pattern of mistrust between the two central banks. I don't think they're going to like react in some way. It wasn't like a big effect on the European currency, if that's what you're asking. It was 10 billion euros or whatever. It was enough to like spook the Japanese speculators and get the price up, but it wasn't enough to make a big shift in the euro. And yeah, I mean, look, if you go to yen to USD, all right, go to like the 5-year mark, bro. Or we'll do USD to yen. It's going to look like an upward chart, but you get the idea. Okay. They tried to defend it right here to try and get it back to 150. They couldn't do it. They tried at 160 to defend it. They tried to do it at 165 to defend it, but it just keeps getting worse, bro. You just keep getting more yen per dollar. Do you have any faith left in Bassett? No, not at all. I mean, I think Scott Bassett is better than the other choice, Howard Lutnick, by a lot. Howard Lutnick is in the Epstein files and is a horrible idiot. But I just think Scott Bassett is every bit of knowledge he had prior to this job, he has just either abandoned or the situation is so bad he doesn't think he can do anything about it. He's just stalling. I don't know. It's either that. You know what I'm saying? But he has done nothing of what he would talk about prior to getting this job. Nothing. And all his big talk of like the 3-3-3 plan of like, we're going to grow at 3%. We're going to get down to 3% debt to GDP. They increased debt. They have not grown to 3%. None of his plans have worked. Yeah, he's a fucking empty suit, dude. The real question is where the new Jerome Powell, Kevin Warsh. The real question is what he's going to do. Is he going to be an empty suit too, or is he going to do what he says? Is he going to raise rates? Is he going to? These are like questions. It's like we're going to find out pretty fucking soon. Only so much one can do with the Iran war and everything. I mean, yeah, it's true. It's part of it. But the problem is he's not like quiet about it. He actively defends these things. You know, there's saying nothing and there's like actively pretending and lying around these things. And by the way, the Iran war is one of the reasons the Japan currency is sinking. Japan has to import fuel. So they have to trade yen for dollars to buy oil. And that is another thing flowing out of Japan. And the cost is getting enormously high because of the cost of oil being so high. So all these things are making Japan, which is an island nation with an aging population and, you know, a stagnating economy and now a huge oil expense to be a huge problem. They kind of survived for decades because they had this unique position of kind of natural deflation. Would you say this weakening yen would mean that Japan's export has been booming? Yeah. Again, if your currency is weak, it does help one aspect of your economy, which is your exports. And Japanese exports have been doing well, and it has been helping some of their businesses. So, you know, there's an upside there, but I would say on the whole, the weakening yen has been very politically negative for the average Japanese person because their savings are evaporating. Food is more expensive. They just feel the pinch a lot more. They had like 2 decades where prices were relatively stable. So like, even if the Japanese economy wasn't growing, you could always like get cheap food, survive. Housing was cheap. But now that there's inflation and their savings are evaporating, they're getting really angry. Anger has returned to Japan. Is my audio low? Yeah, I'm sorry. They're gonna make. They have to make anime too. The only thing left for Japan is to invent anime 2 and double the price. That's the last way to get money to flow in. And yeah, I mean, a part of that is, you know, a big thing in Japan right now is blaming immigrants. As their economy gets worse, they're blaming immigrants, but they have so few immigrants, it's cartoonish. There has been a small increase in immigration in Japan, but they're still like 99% homogenous. Like, it's insane. And that's become like their big rallying cry that like, that's what's going to fix our economy is getting rid of our fucking 12 immigrants. It's going to get down to one dude. Yeah, there's going to be like one guy left and they're going to blame him for the whole economy. It's just tough. This is why I talk about these things, because politicians don't talk about it. Nobody talks about it. But the story behind every story with government is how they afford it. Did they do it by raising taxes and like balancing the budget, or do they do it by borrowing and going la, 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 and figuring out for the next guy? And if most countries do that second option, that is going to be a problem, bigger problem than anything else we talk about. That is the problem that eats away at everything else, because someone has to pay for it. And usually it's the next generation. You hear about what's happening on the USS Lincoln? I actually got a video I wanted to watch with you guys. I don't know what's happening, but I got this 6-minute video that I was going to watch with chat and see what's going on the USS Lincoln, stationed in the Middle East, helping enforce the blockade of Hormuz.
Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal, now among Democrats raising concerns about the well-being of our sailors aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln. That lawmaker sending a letter to Defense Secretary Hegseth and the Navy's acting secretary requesting that they answer questions on whether the Navy is able to properly care for service members. It comes amid reports that the sailors are exhausted and being pushed to the brink. The Military Times also reporting at least one family is alleging a sailor attempted to go overboard on the Abe Lincoln.
Jesus.
Responding to those reports, the Navy says we have not identified an increase in reported suicidal ideation or suicide attempts.
That's such a vague statement. We have not identified an increase in reported suicidal ideation. That's crazy. That's like nothing. You should say no. If the answer is no, you should say no.
Aboard the ship. Let's bring in our senior Pentagon reporter, Louis Martinez, for more. It's interesting, just the verbiage in that quote. We have not identified an increase in reported suicidal ideation or suicide attempts aboard the ship. They didn't completely deny or confirm. It's interesting, the words that they choose to use. So let's talk about the demand.
I mean, this was not a confirmed story, but prior to all this, there was like one of the boats had a fire in like the like a dryer fire or something. You guys remember what this? The laundry, and it was reported that possibly that had been self-inflicted. Like the crewmen had tried to start a fire in order to get the ship sent to port because they did not want to be out there anymore. That was like the goal. Again, not confirmed or denied. I'm not 100% confirming it, but that did happen. Like it was in port.
And what we're hearing, from the Navy at this point, what the sailors are saying, what the Military Times is reporting, and how this is really pushing this story forward.
Well, Kara, we should point out that this suicidal ideation is something that actually happens across the entire military force, not just aboard ships at sea. When we talked to a U.S. official, they pointed that it is not uncommon for sailors to be aboard a ship that, yes, there will be some reports of suicidal ideation, either comments that they've made or comments that are overheard by others, or that they self-report, or maybe even attempts at suicidal ideation. But typically what happens is that we see these reports happen towards the start of a deployment. And what we are hearing from a U.S. official is that over the last 9 months, the numbers actually have gone down, and that it is they don't corroborate what has been implied in some reports, that the longer that this deployment has taken place, that there's been an increase with regards to suicidal ideation. I spoke with another official who did confirm that, yes, there was one sailor who was reported overboard last month and was quickly recovered at sea. But that incident is under investigation right now to determine intent. We also have learned from that official that
determine the intent of a guy jumping overboard?
Re-enlistment, which would be an indicator of morale aboard the ship, is up in recent months, which would kind of be at odds with the notion that the longer that the ship is at sea, that morale is going to be impacted. But I guess we should point out again, this ship was diverted to the Middle East.
I mean, maybe. That's a maybe. It does like lend some credence to the idea that it's not so impossibly miserable they would never come back. But like recruitment is way up too. And that's really just an indicator of like financial stress more than anything. Like, I know Trump was tweeting that it's like, oh, patriotism is back in a major way. I don't think it's patriotism fucking back in a major way. I think it's like people need work. And this is a job they can get guaranteed.
It did not make a port of call in between for more than 210 days. That is a long length of time. And so, yes, there's going to be concerns when you're doing
210 days without port is crazy.
The same kind of operations. I know you've seen it firsthand, being aboard an aircraft carrier. That can be really intense in a time of war.
Yeah, no, and that's a really good point. And I think...
Did they get Big A clips? Oh, they haven't even had Big A clips. Oh my God, imagine being stuck at sea and Big A doesn't upload for a full month. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Oh, no wonder. Maybe they post on Reddit. Maybe all my Redditors are crewmen on the fucking USS Lincoln.
that a lot has changed. I was on the Abraham Lincoln during Operation Iraqi Freedom, and over 20 years, there have been a lot of changes with regard to mental health. We've reported on everything from PTS to suicide to all the challenges the military deals with. And we know now that there are people on these.
No one disrespect Operation Iraqi Freedom in this house. That is the GOAT name for an operation. It's like the Patriot Act, bro. It's fucking beast. Operation Iraqi Freedom. Get it fucking done. Mission accomplished. Epic Fury is also pretty sick.
Ships, mental health folks, and resources, and even chaplains, and so it's, I guess, moving forward, and we are going to have, by the way, the editor-in-chief of the Military Times on in the next hour. Do you think, through your sources, and also, you cover the Pentagon, you've been doing this a very long time. Do you think this story will help sailors and even other service members when it comes to mental health? Do you think this story is finally broken? Will it do something? Do you get a sense that now members of the military will be proactive in trying to help all our men and women that are having a tough time when you're out at sea for long periods of time, not knowing when you're going to be home?
Especially when it's unexpected, right, Kara? And you're right. Over the last 20 years, what we've seen is an incredible focus by the U.S. military in trying to enhance and improve access to military care, because the realization came, unfortunately, at some cost, that a healthy, mentally healthy soldier, service member, is going to be very productive for...
Right, but it's not like a question of whether or not the story helps. It's like whether or not you're stuck deployed for 2/3 of a year at sea without going to port. That's the only, you can't change it by like talking about it. That's crazy. That is such a nothing burger. Yeah, now that we've broken the story and we're talking about these things. No, dude, if you don't change the reality of whether or not they're fucking stuck out there. Yeah, they're yeah, exactly. They thought they were getting home by May. It's extra bad. Listen, I lived on military bases growing up. I've seen people fucking depressed. The worst is when they think it's like expectation. We've talked about this before. Anger and depression come from unmet expectations. And if you think something's going to be a certain way, if you can handle it if you know what it is going in, but when then they tell you, extend. That's people get fucking depressed, dude. People fucking, they lose it. So incredibly sleepy. Thank you for the Prime. Thank you for the 39 months of Prime. What was this Binface clip? Binface got bars?
You, the establishment candidate, he said in the last half hour or so, at some party he's having with his supporters, that he's beaten the establishment candidate. I assume he means you.
Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Because one of the candidates was a sitting MP, formerly an MEP, architect of Brexit, one of the most significant British politicians of the last 20 years, and reputedly a member of the East India Gentlemen's Club, which to this day does not admit women. Now, if that's not the establishment, I'd like to know what is, because I'm a lone wolf space warrior.
You went to...
Yeah, one of the candidates is that guy, and the other candidate is the one with the bin on his head. Farage called him the establishment candidate? That is fucking crazy. Dude, this anti-establishment rhetoric is so fucking stupid. Farage, you've been around for fucking 2 decades, bro. Yeah, literally, Brexit is the story of British economy and politics, and that was you. And now you're fighting the establishment, and it's a fucking guy with a trash can on his head. That's crazy. That shit's crazy, bro. And you know what? He's right. We stand with Farage on this stream. Thank God someone's fighting the power, dude. These aliens trying to take over the great UK. Up the raw.
Oxford University, though, didn't you? That's a bit posh.
I've parked above it in my spaceship, but I don't know what you mean. I mean, I'll tell you what, I haven't plagiarized any research. How about them apples?
This is his wife. Okay. This shit is great, bro. Ben Face the GOAT, bro. Ben Face the GOAT. What's Ben Face at? It looks like he's gonna get between 10 and 30% of the vote. That is what the current odds show. So he's probably not gonna win. That being said, if he got closer to 30%, that would be pretty fucking crazy. And we can all chant stuff. Is this January 6th worthy? Should we have a fucking August 13th of the UK where we storm Big Ben and say stop the steal on Ben Face? How did while we're on the subject, how did the Patriot games go? How did the Patriot games go? Patriot games. What? President Trump attends the Patriot Games 2020.
What's up? This is Pat McAfee live from the Patriot Games here in Geneva, Ohio, as we are celebrating the 250th year of the greatest country on earth and promoting high schoolers remaining fit and active. The president's here. Athletes are here. Scholarships are about to be given out. Let's have a night.
Pat McAfee. Oh, John Hancock. Is this some AI shit?
If you've ever glanced at our glorious Declaration of Independence for more than a moment, you've no doubt seen my name.
What the fuck is this?
I made certain King George did not miss John Hancock. Born in Massachusetts, I was raised among wealth, but I wagered all of it on the cause.
Dude, what the fuck is going on? The White House posted this?
Of liberty. When the king taxed us without our say, I refused to bow. They called...
Bro, this is like the sloppiest slop of... This is like grok level slop. Bro, this isn't even like... Like, even if they were going to use AI, this is like slop. This is crazy. This is like 2022 AI.
Mere smuggler. I called it resistance. As president of the Continental Congress, it was my duty and my honor to be the first to sign the Declaration of Independence. And I signed big, so there'd be no mistake. Some say there may have been a price on my head.
This is crazy. Wow, can I see the comments or they turn them off? They turned them off. They turned them off. Yeah, that tracks. That tracks. That fucking tracks. Wow, I can't believe they thought this was a good idea. That's great. There's a bunch of these. Holy God, they all have like 10K views. Dude, the White House is posting AI slop to 10K views. That is crazy. You'd think they would. Wow, wait a minute. This Patriot Games thing we just watched has 5,000 views. I'm the only one watching it. The White House is posting shit and I'm the only one watching? This is, well, nobody even cares. Even MAGA doesn't care? That's crazy, bro. Explorers, thank you for the 48 months. Much appreciated. Sincerely. Cabbage Juice Tim, thank you for the 64 months. Incredibly Sleepy, thank you for the 39. Peyton, thank you for the 23. Law Dog, thank you for the 36. The first image is cinema. This is just a picture of Farage holding a beer. Oh, this is pretty good. A brief history of Ben Face's political career. And there's fucking Boris Johnson, Binface, and Elmo. And he upgraded his suit, bro. He upgraded his suit a lot since back then. The UK, bro. The UK's got something figured out. Be a tough choice. Be a tough choice. Let's watch the new Almost Friday. Why wouldn't we? I Need My Wife Gone, it's called. Brand new Almost Friday just came out. Let's see what it is. Fucking.
It's crazy thinking about like our wedding vows and that sort of thing, and somehow we ended up here, but.
Hey, babe. I did say wife, but I was reading the title of this YouTube video.
What's it
Called I Need My Wife Gone, about a guy hiring a hitman to get his wife.
Okay,
Well, you're safe. Don't worry.
I got summoned and all.
No. You know what? I did want. Oh, babe. I don't have it set up. But we'll do it tomorrow.
What?
I wanted to do this game that Squeaks found where you have to dub a scene from a show.
Man, that sounds so fun!
And I wanted to do the room scene with you.
Oh, I love it! I love it! Like, say less!
Okay, so we're going to do that tomorrow. It'll be fun.
Okay, what if I made...
I would love that. I'll go crazy. You know what? I just did a Japanese presentation, so
You don't
Karage
seem that
would be
excited about
No,
it.
I'm very excited. I think that'd be very themed. I just did a yen presentation.
Okay. Bye.
All right, babe. See you soon. Bro gave credit to Squeaks. I don't know. That's Squeaks where I saw it. I was cracking up today. Squeaks did the I am the one who knocks scene from Breaking Bad, and I was laughing, bro. I was chortling. I almost never chortle at Twitch. I lost my fucking thing. All right. This guy, he's in a bar. He wants to hire a hitman to kill his wife, it seems. Let's find out more.
It's crazy thinking about like our wedding vows and that sort of thing, and somehow we ended up here, but I'm wondering too how the hell I got here, because I'm not the sort of person that would ever kill somebody. Not that that's a problem, you know, but I need my wife. I need my wife gone. And I can't have anyone know that this was ever me.
You needn't worry, Mr. Smith. I operate with the utmost expediency. And discretion is, of course, guaranteed.
Right. I don't want her to suffer either. Quick and painless. How does it go down?
Yes. First, I prepare my body.
This is the answer Gavin Newsom expected me to give. Bro, I'm trying to talk about the economy.
Then I ingest raw meat from an animal which died by my hand. At approximately 1900, I prepare my weapon. Once I found a suitable vantage point which overlooks your back window, I zero in my sights. I find that classical music slows my heart rate the best.
Oh, it's like a Hitman parody, literally, of the movie.
I steady my target in the center.
The Fassbender one.
Squeeze the trigger. Your problem is solved. It's quick and painless, Mr. Smith. Once the deed is done, you wire me $15,000.
15 grand.
I'd do it for way less. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you fucking do.
No. His friend from college. We're catching up here and having a drink.
That's right. We're friends from college.
Nah, that's a killer right there. I could hear you guys. He's gonna eat a bunch of raw fucking meat and shoot your wife.
This is a private conversation.
Well, then let me fucking scooch over to you.
I think you're fine.
I'll do it for $400. It'll be down and dirty, and I'm not gonna lie to you, she's gonna feel it. It's not gonna be quick. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but I'll tell you what. $400,
It's a savings.
I'll kill your wife.
I don't know what you're referring to. I think we're okay.
Okay, cool. Well, then how about this? Let me paint you a picture. First, I prepare my body. I get torched, like I'm swallowing my own puke. I eat a full bucket of fried chicken. I cry a little bit. I got a bad life. I prepare my tools. I rip 6 shots of well whiskey. I like to drink stuff that hurts. Shit that you get hungover as you drink it. Listen to my own band's music. We're like Limp Bizkit if everybody played drums.
Listening to your own band's music is beast.
Then I show up to your house in the middle of the night, burn the fucking place down. Problem solved.
Ineffective. The target would likely wake up and flee the house.
I would prefer if my house was not destroyed.
300. I'll do it for 300.
This is a private conversation, Dave.
I'll scoot over.
It's my buddy Dave. He's gonna fuck my whole shit up.
What? All right. So, I just got this sword off the internet. It's a katana.
Dude, the thing you bought is a replica.
And I've been dying to try this baby.
There's no
out.
fucking way that you would be able to cut her head off with it.
I didn't say I was gonna chop her head off.
You're gonna look me in the eye and tell me that you weren't gonna try to chop her head off with your new sword.
Fine, I'm gonna try and cut her head
What
off.
did I tell you? I read his ass like a book.
If you wanted to cut your wife's head off, the most efficient way to do that.
I don't think we need to chop my wife's head off. I think we're good.
I'll drop my offer to $250 if you throw in your PS4. All right? You do that? Fucking
That's a worse deal.
hit her against a tree with my truck, sign style.
What is Signs style?
Sign style is the motion picture Signs, where Mel Gibson's wife gets kind of squinched between a tree and a truck. I would do that to your wife. Her top half will live for a minute, but she'll die eventually.
Problem is, you're gonna ruin your truck if you do that.
Shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I got a new idea. Y'all got a Roomba at your house? Do y'all got a Roomba at your house?
Yeah, we have a Roomba.
Jackpot. We rigged that son bitch with a big ass knife, have it bonk into her eyeball.
But she'd have to be like so low. She'd like have to be like laying on the ground.
Yes, she would need to be fucking low to the ground, but would you at least admit that if we could rig the knife on the fucking Roomba and get her low enough,
get her down in a supine position on the floor and stab her in the eye with a Roomba.
that would be the perfect fucking crime.
That is the perfect crime on account of the new legislation and the fact that you can't charge a Roomba for murder.
You can't charge a Roomba with murder no
That's
more
true.
on account of the new legislation.
That just passed?
Just passed.
Mr. Smith, these men are
Why do you keep calling him Mr. Smith? His name's Brett Thompson.
Whoa! You don't need to be a dick. We didn't need to come over here.
Mr. Smith, if you decide to do this, you want it done right.
He sounds fucking sick. He sounds like John Wick.
And if you want it done right, you'll hire a professional.
Hey, we'll do it for 200. But we get to make the new pledge eater.
Absolutely not.
Cool. Worth a shot.
Final offer. $150. PS4. But you gotta let me wear a clown suit.
No.
You sure? It's not weird, it's just like a sexual thing.
What the fuck is wrong with you guys?
Oh, hey, Brett,
Take
where
the
you going?
deal, bro.
Oh, hey.
Honey.
How'd drinks go with the new client?
Good. Bad. I think, yeah, it's over. It's not going through.
Aw.
Got out of there as soon as I could to see you. And what did you do tonight?
You're looking at it. Just caught up on my shows, read my book. I missed you.
I missed you too. I'm gonna go put on some pajamas. I'm gonna join you, okay?
Oh, hey, hun. Did you manage to take those packages to the UPS store today?
No, I forgot. Hey, I'll do it first thing in the morning, okay?
Okay. Can't do anything right. Always fucks it up.
Was she trying to kill him?
It's me. I want him fucking dead. How much again? Pretty reasonable. Yeah, that's way less than I thought. You'll get the PS4 when it's done.
Honey, I pulled my back putting on my bottoms. I'm gonna go lie on the kitchen floor for a bit.
Okay, honey. The perfect crime. On account of legislation.
Holy cinema! It all comes back full circle. And a fucking mug root beer ad at the end. Christopher Nolan, take notes. Dude, they actually got a show, though. They actually got a show. The Almost Friday people. Or a movie. I'm sorry, a movie. Boys for Life? It's a movie. Yeah. Damn, good for them. And they got a movie called Boys for Life. Paramount's going to fucking fund it. That's kind of cool. Extra Emily got 2 Hulu shows. Dude, I actually DM'd Extra Emily about the Hulu thing she did. She told me it's kind of a sweet deal, but it's just, they're just taking her old YouTube videos and uploading them on Hulu and calling it a show. But she's getting paid. It's like a sick deal. But I was like, yeah, congrats on the Hulu thing. That's kind of cool. And she was like, yeah, it's just stuff I already filmed. They're just taking it off YouTube. That's kind of dope. It's kind of like big boss moves. How much? Oh, you want me to just leak? You want me to just tell you? You want to give me the contract details too? How about addresses? Do you want me to? No, but that's just cool. That's cool. Jimmy B does that on Prime. Yeah, but he also made them a custom. He made the full custom show. It's like a bonus thing for him. He made like a new show just for Prime. The Beast Games. Tromps, thank you for the Prime. Dark Uga, thank you for the Prime. Speaking of Prime. Lexroy, thank you for the Prime. Snooch Fooch, thank you for the Prime. Going Hamby, thank you for the Prime. Folks. What if I kick off a little bit of, I think we'll do best tweets tomorrow. It'll be nice to have something in the pocket anyway. I'm not going to have a presentation for tomorrow. I think we should do a Smallville, unless I have a game I wanted to play. I do think I want to start ending stream with some Pokemon champions as I grind the ladder. But I don't have it set up today, so I can't do that today. I could play Plants vs. Zombies, but realistically, I wouldn't be able to get that far before I end stream. So I think it's Smallville. I think that's Smallville today. I think that's what we do. And then we do tweets tomorrow. Plus other things. I think that's fucking good. Check out this Reddit video meant specifically for you. Atrioc, can I be your guide in Singapore? You know what? I'll check out the Reddit on Friday, tomorrow. We'll do best tweets and a little Reddit check. Because at the end of the day, if there's anything of value on it, I can put it on Big A bonus. So I'll check Reddit. But I don't think there's going to be anything. There hasn't been. But if there's not anything, then I can just skip it. And if there is anything, we can put it on bonus. Okay. In that case, ladies and gentlemen, to end out today's stream, I am going to play an episode of the 2000s TV show Smallville. Now, the last episode we watched was cracking me up. Anyone that watched it last night, it was probably the funniest episode I've seen. Maybe in the whole time. It was literally so funny, it was crazy. There's probably no way you can top it at all. It's definitely going to be downhill from there. But it did bring back Clark Kent the cuck in the most incredible way. And it certainly riled me up. I was furious. So we're on the next episode called Prodigal. And it aired. Prodigal Smallville air dates. It aired on February 11th, 2003. Now, when this aired, the #1 song was All I Have by Jennifer Lopez.